everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video, it is going to be the second part of the massive gaming bundle video that we put out on Friday last week. So if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up in one of the corners to that video. Go and check that out first before we then go through the bits that I'm actually going to keep for the collection. And yeah, we've got quite a lot to go through today, so that's why I separated this into two parts. What I have done is I've kind of grouped things together as well. So yeah, hopefully it's a bit more of a coherent way to go through it. So I'm going to dive straight in, because as I say, we've got quite a bit to go through. And the first thing we've got is actually a spindle full of CDs. But all of the discs in here are all PS2 games. I think there might be a couple of PS1 games in there as well, but they're all disc-only PlayStation 2 games. And there are a couple that I've put on top. There we go. So probably a little handful of ones that are sort of interest. So the first one that we've got is Top Trumps Horror and Predators. I don't know why that one's on top actually. But looking it up online, I couldn't find anything for it. So yeah, I don't know why I pulled that one out. But the next one that we've got is Superman Returns. I think I've seen this before. I know I've seen the film. I think I might have heard of the game as well. I will admit I haven't been able to capture any footage for these discs yet. So looking this up online, it goes disc only goes for £6 on eBay. Then a game that I definitely have heard of, and that is The Punisher. So yeah, a really good game. One that I am actually going to be putting some time into playing, because I believe I've played this years and years ago on the PC. So yeah, definitely looking forward to picking that one back up again. Looking it up online, disc only goes for £12. Once again, this next one, not too sure why I pulled it out, but that is Truck Racing. That one, couldn't find a price for it online, and yeah. Right, so we've got 4 left. So next one we've got is Haunted Mansion. Now this one, I have been wanting to pick this up for a while, and at one point I was seeing it every week at the normal Sunday boot fair, but whenever I went, it was basically just case and manual. So I really wish now I'd actually picked it up, because I could have had a complete version. But yeah, so this is not actually based on the Eddie Murphy film that was released. It was, yeah, from what I've seen, it sort of more follows the actual original Haunted Mansion stories from the ride. And yeah, not necessarily the film, even though all of the artwork, like the cover art for the case and everything like that, are all very much based upon the film artwork. But looking that one up online, it goes for £7 in disc only. Then we've got Kengo. Now I'll be honest, I don't know anything about this, but the name just seemed to be familiar. So yeah, that's one that I'm actually going to have to play to see what it is about. I've got a feeling it's a samurai game. I might be wrong. That one goes for £7 as well, disc only. Then next up we get into probably the two that, definitely the two top games out of this stack. First one that we've got is Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition. Or Street Fighter 2 Hyper the Anniversary Edition. I'll get there in a minute. So yeah, absolutely over the moon to have this in the collection. Love playing the Street Fighter games, and I definitely like these compilations that they put out as well. So this one goes for £6 disc only. And then the last one that we've got was Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. So yeah, the original Alpha series were released on platforms like the PS1. So this is basically a compilation of all of those. This one goes for £7 disc only. So yeah, some good discs there. As I say, there are, as you can see, there's a whole stack there. So I do need to go through and have a bit of a closer look at everything. And then to wrap up this little section of sort of PlayStation bits, Also got a new lanyard to add to the collection. So we got a, I'll put it up the right way, a PSP lanyard. So yeah, as I say, it's I've got a little collection of lanyards sort of just on the back of the door there. So yeah, quite looking forward to adding a new one to it. Couldn't find it online. There was a couple of PSP lanyards when I was sort of researching prices, but none like this. So yeah, I haven't put any price down for that. Right, so next up, we are going to dive into. So there was a massive box filled with cassette carts and everything like that. When we were sorting through everything, I said that I would have a look through it later on and sort out what's in there. Now there were probably about 350 to 400 cassettes in there. Now that's cassettes for the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to go through them yet, but I am going to go through them, and any that we don't already have in the collection I'm going to look to add in. Any that are, then I'll probably bundle them up with systems when I come to sell them. But in the bottom of the box there was a massive surprise. And there was an absolutely ginormous stack, and I'm going to say ginormous, of Atari 2600 games. So yeah, instantly I was like, I am keeping hold of these, and yeah, they are all going to be new additions to the collection. So the first one that we've got is 32-in-1 games cartridges. Now with this one, I was expecting that you put it in and there'd be a menu that you scroll through. No. Basically, each time you start the game, a different game of the 32 will load up. So yeah, it was a really interesting one. I did capture some footage for. I've actually gone through and I've captured footage for all the Atari games this week, but unfortunately this one just did not come out well. So I've not been able to include any footage of that one. Looking it up online, it goes for about £25 on eBay. Then next up we've got a copy of Defender. So yeah, really enjoyed playing this. Definitely brought back, well, say it brought back some memories. I remember seeing it when I was younger, but I never actually had access to an Atari until a couple of years ago when I got my first one for the collection. But yeah, definitely some games that are iconic. Defender being one of them. That one goes for £7.50 on eBay. Right, this next one was really bizarre. As I say, you'll be seeing footage in a second, but that is Superman. And yeah, this was just completely bizarre. So you're basically playing as Superman, you're going from sort of screen to screen. I'll be honest, I had no clue what was going on, what was happening, or what I needed to do. But yeah, an interesting one, and yeah, not one that I was expecting to add to the collection. The only problem with it is missing the spine sticker, which shows the 32-in-1, which is a bit of a shame. That one goes for £8.50 on eBay. No, it doesn't. Goes for £9.50 on eBay. And yeah, I am trying to make sure they get the right prices, because there was a bit of an issue in the last boot fair video. So not Friday just gone, the Friday before, where I actually sort of read out the wrong prices to that. So yeah, £9.50 for Superman on eBay. And then the last cart only that we've got is Hangman. Yeah, once again, just your sort of bog standard version of Hangman, and yeah, it just was what it was. It's very basic, as you'll be seeing sort of on screen. That one goes for £8.50 on eBay. And then we get into the boxed games. So yes, there was a whole load of 2600 games that were boxed in the bottom. Now I will admit, when I got them, the boxes were quite sort of crushed up and squashed up, but after putting them in box protectors, they seem to have sort of come back into their own. So the first one that we've got is Battlezone. This one doesn't have the manual, unfortunately, but other than that, it is in fairly good condition. This one goes for £18 on eBay, and yeah, it was, as I say, it's one of the iconic 2600 games, and I will say most of the games, most of the box games that we've got here in this pile are well-known games. So yeah, really chuffed to have these. Just a bit concerned about how I'm going to now organise my Atari shelf to get them on. So yeah, there's that one. I'm going to put them that end, or not. Next up, we've got Roadrunner. This one, I actually really enjoyed playing this. So you are, basically, it is a sort of side-scrolling runner, basically. So as you're running, you're playing Roadrunner, the idea is to outrun Wile E. Coyote while avoiding obstacles and trucks and everything like that. And yeah, it was actually a really good one to play. I think I probably played through the first level, I died towards the end, then restarted it, played it through, got to the second level, and yeah, I was like, okay, I need to move on to the next game. But yeah, really enjoyed that one. That one goes for £20 on eBay. There we go. Then next up we've got, oh sorry, before I forget, Roadrunner is complete, does have the manual and everything in it. The next one is also complete, and that is Junior Pac-Man. So I will admit, this is actually probably the better version of Pac-Man on the 2600. Obviously the original Pac-Man was, well, a lot of people say it was an absolute disgrace compared to the arcade original. And then we have got Miss Pac-Man as well, but I will admit I haven't actually played that one. Oh, nearly. Yeah, this one, actually looking at it, it is very, it's as close as you're going to get to the arcade on the sort of 2600, which is good. This one goes for £25 on eBay. Then we've got the classic Space Invaders. So yeah, this was one that I have wanted to get complete in box for the 2600, and yeah, really glad to finally have it. So this one is complete as well. It goes for £25 on eBay, and yeah, I will once again really enjoyed playing this again to capture the footage. It's not a game that I've actually put too much time in over the years, but yeah, definitely enjoying playing some of these older games for this video. Right, the next one is one that I've heard of but never actually had a chance to play it, and that is Keystone Capers. So basically you play a police officer, I think you're running through like a department store, and you've got to run after and catch up with a robber. Now yeah, this is a game I've seen loads of people talk about it and play it online, but never actually had a chance to play it myself. So yeah, when I saw it sitting in the bottom of the box, I was absolutely over the moon. So yeah, really happy to have that, and once again really enjoyed capturing the footage for the video. Sorry, Keystone Capers goes for £20 on eBay. Unfortunately this one doesn't have the manual, so I might look to try and track down the manual for this. And then the last 2600 game that we've got is the classic Pitfall. So yeah, I was over the moon to see this in there as well. As I say, there's some really good games, really iconic games that were in this box. But what actually surprised me was the value of this now. So complete in box, this actually sells for £60 on eBay. So yeah, really happy to have this in the collection. I will admit, capturing the footage for this wasn't doing particularly well, especially when it comes to the crocodiles, but yeah, really happy to finally have this in the collection. So yeah, that is the last 2600 game, but it's not the last 2600 item, because we go on to our first console of the day, and it is a boxed 2600 Junior. So we've recently picked one of these up from the Sunday Boot Fair, and that one I am literally just going to be sort of flipping that on at eBay, because as I say, we've got this one, it's now in the collection, and all of the footage, all the 2600 footage that we've done in today's video was actually captured on this exact 2600. So yeah, really happy, obviously know that it works, and really glad to add it to the collection. Once again, don't know where I'm going to put it, because obviously my 2600 Junior that's here is a slightly different version. So as you'll see on this one, it's got the sort of multicoloured line on it, whereas my one, I think this one is actually the second revision, so it only has just a little bar there, but also this one has been modified with composite outputs. The only problem is when I bought this, they didn't actually work, so I do need to try and get the time to spend to try and get that working. But yeah, originally I was going to take that out and put the box 2600 there, but obviously with the games now, probably not going to have the room. I'm going to have to potentially take out the 2600 Junior just to give me a bit more room to put the games in, but that's for later on. I will look at that later. Right, so next up we have got so there was another box of sort of random bits, but in general most of it wasn't really worth going through, but there's a couple of bits that I do want to go through that was in there. First off, managed to get a whole couple of stacks of genuine Game Gear cases. So I think we've got 9 of these now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of my Game Gear games that are not in cases. I'm going to get them cased up, and yeah, for sort of the 9 of these, you're probably looking about £20 on eBay. So yeah, not too bad to get them in there. There we go. And then also to do with the Game Gear, I also managed to find a Sega Game Gear carry case. So I've got a couple of carry cases for the Game Gear now. But yeah, anything that's got like the Sega branding on, I do tend to keep and add to the collection. Looking it up online, this one goes for about £17 on eBay. Right, what do we got next? Oh, right, so we've got a couple of Master System bits. As I say, I'm trying to sort of group them all together so that everything's sort of in one bit. Right, the first bits that we've got a couple of games. So first off, we've got the original Shinobi. Yeah, I have captured footage for this. I'll be honest, I can't remember capturing the footage. So yeah, the original Shinobi games, absolutely brilliant games. I more remember them from sort of the Mega Drive era, but I will admit, sort of when I was younger, never really played the Master System. I think I a couple of times went round a friend's house who had one, and that's the only real time that I was ever exposed to a Master System when I was younger. So yeah, as I say, nice to have another one in the collection, and the fact that it's Shinobi is really good. Looking it up online, it goes for £5 at CEX, £10 on eBay. I think that's actually our first CEX, the first thing that we've got that's actually available at CEX. The next one isn't available at CEX, but it is a complete in-box Master System game, and that is US Golf World Class Leaderboard. So this is a golf game, and yeah, it's, as I say, golf games of this era I enjoy playing because they're literally you sort of fill the bar and then you take your swing, unlike the ones now where you've got like stick combinations and everything like that just to get the ball up the course. So yeah, really happy to have another complete in-box Master System game. This one, couldn't see it on CEX, and goes for £10 on eBay. Right, next up, I think I've got this right. So it is broken, so I am going to probably try and look at what I need to do to potentially fix it. But potentially a pair of the Sega Master System 3D glasses. So it is missing sort of one complete arm, and it's only got half an arm on the other side. Yeah, I think they are, I'm not too sure, but when you look at the cable, it actually comes with a 3.5mm plug. So yeah, I'm going to have to look into it a bit more. I think they are the Master System 3D glasses. If I'm wrong, someone let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I'm going to have a look, see if I can get them working and what I need. I'm assuming that I need sort of an adapter or something like that. So there's them. I don't think I've got Yeah, I haven't got a price down for them because of the fact that I'm not even 100% sure what they are. But the next one that we've got, I am 100% sure of what it is. And that is a Master System 1. So we've already got one of these in the collection, which has got, is it Destroyer 3D, something like that. Basically, it's got a 3D game on it that doesn't really work unless you've got the glasses. But this one, when I come to test it, I actually found out that it has Hang-On and Safari built in. So Hang-On is the classic motorbike racing game from Sega, and then Safari, I believe, is a light gun game. So yeah, the fact that it is a different variant of the Master System, that was the reason for picking it up. Looking it up online, it goes for about £90 on eBay. Okay, so next up we've got a couple of handhelds. And the first one that we've got is the Konami 25th anniversary Star Trek game. Now, yeah, these games, I remember when I was younger, I had the Turtles one of these. And I am keeping my eye out for it because I do want to add it back into the collection. Because yeah, it's something that obviously it was got rid of years and years ago. But I'd love to find one again, add that back into the collection as something that I had when I was younger. But yeah, I saw this in there and I was like immediately, yeah, going to keep hold of that. Because yeah, it just brings back a lot of memories. Not necessarily the Star Trek version, but just the Konami handhelds on their own. So looking this one up, it goes for about £25 on eBay. This one I have tested it, it does all work. So yeah, I've just got to give it a bit of a clean, but yeah, we're all good to go with that one. And then also we've got the ice hockey handheld game. Not really class that as handheld, but probably smaller than some of the consoles. Not far off an Atari Lynx. So yeah, once again, I'm not massively worried about this one. I might look to sell this one on. I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. But yeah, it's a nice little one. If we do decide to keep it, looking it up online, they go for about £20 on eBay. So yeah, I'll have a look. I don't know whether I've tested this one or not yet, but what I'll do is I'll get it tested, and yeah, I might sell it, I might keep it. I don't know yet, but we're definitely keeping Star Trek. Right, so next up we are going to dive into the Commodore 64 bits. So obviously recently we had managed to pick up the actual Commodore 64 for the collection, and in with all this there was a load of different versions of the Commodore 64. There was a VIC-20 and a whole load. I'll be honest, I've not got any interest in keeping them. I've got the 26, I've got the Commodore 64 that I wanted for the collection, and it is complete in box. So yeah, the rest of them are all going to get sold, and yeah, I'm just going to keep the one that I want in the collection. But there was a load of games in there as well, and all of them are big box that I've gone through so far. As I say, I have got that box that's full of the cassettes, so yeah, I'm going to have a look through there. I don't know whether I'm going to keep everything or some of it. I haven't decided yet. I'll get to that point when I get the chance to look through it. But one thing that we did have was this Commodore, I want to say it's like a sort of a document binder or something like that. I'll be honest, I've tried looking it up online. I cannot find anything about it. There's no sold comps, there's just no information about it at all. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to be keeping for the collection. As you can see, it is still sealed in its original packaging. So yeah, it's never been out of packaging, so really happy to have that. I haven't got any sold comps for this or anything. I just literally, as I say, could not find anything about it online. Right, where am I going to put it? Right, so next up, just going to quickly dive into the games that I've got. So first one that we've got is Olympic Challenge. That one goes for £14 on eBay. I haven't got any gameplay footage for this at the moment. I haven't been able to get the time together to actually get I keep wanting to say 2600. I haven't had a chance to get the Commodore 64 set up yet. So yeah, I haven't got any footage for these ones. Then we've got Star Glider. So this looks like a sort of vector-based sort of space sim. This one goes for £35 on eBay. Then we've got Wheels of Fire. So this is a four game compilation. So it's got Turbo Outrun, Chase HQ, Hard Driving, and Power Drift. So yeah, all games that I've heard of, and yeah, I will admit this will probably be one of the first that I play. Definitely want to give sort of Turbo Outrun a go. Obviously, we've recently got a copy of Chase HQ as well, and yeah, Power Drift. Definitely want to have a go at that. Looking it up online, this is actually the cheaper of all the games, at £6 on eBay. Then we've got F-16 Combat Pilot. Now this one, when I was looking it up online, most of the options that I was being given was just the cassette case, and not the actual big box. So I think this is actually a rare variant. Looking it up online, I think I did find one version, and they were selling it for about £10. But as I say, it's not one. There wasn't a load of listings for the big box, so yeah, not too sure with that one. And as you've seen, they've all got big price stickers on them. So I'm going to try. I'm going to use the hot air gun a little later on to get those stickers off. And then the last one that we've got is Pit Fighter and Space Invaders combo back. So yeah, really happy to have that one. That one goes for £20 on eBay. So yeah, a couple of big box 2600, a big box Commodore 64 games. Right, so next up we are going to dive into something a bit more modern. We're going to be looking at some Dreamcast editions. So the first one that we've got is just an extra cable. That is a SCART cable. So I've not currently got one of these. I've currently got the component and the composite and the RF cable. So yeah, it just gives me a bit of an extra option with regards to that. They normally sell for about £9 on eBay. Then next up we've got the official Dreamcast light gun. So yeah, I've been wanting one of these for a while, especially after getting the TV, where I can sort of now actually sort of play light gun games. This one goes for, where are we? We are up there. £22 at CEX, £40 on eBay. It did actually come with two of these. The bundle did actually come with two. I've already sold one, and as I say, this one I'm going to keep for the collection. And then we also got some games in there as well. So the first one that we've got was disc only of Trick Style. So this is basically a futuristic sort of hoverboard type game, and yeah, it was alright. I've seen it about, never had a chance to play it before this. So yeah, nice new addition. Obviously what I am going to try and do is, in with the bundle as well, I've got a whole load of Dreamcast cases. So I'm going to be going through the Dreamcast games that we've currently got on the shelf, swapping all the cases out so that I've got both good front and back cases, and any that I'm missing labels for, I'm going to try and track them down online. But yeah, Trick Style disc only goes for about £8 on eBay. Now this game is really frustrating me because I am 110% know that I've got it, because this was a game that I actually bought my Dreamcast for, and that is Sega Bass Fishing. So yeah, I actually remember I sort of bought the Dreamcast, it didn't have it, and I actually bought it from the Maidstone, what was the Blockbuster gaming place, Game Station. I actually bought it from Blockbuster Game Station in Maidstone before it all shut down. So I know I've got it, but it's not on the shelf, it's not on my app. So I can only assume that it's gone walkies somewhere between me sort of setting up the games room and starting to use the app. Yeah, really don't know. It's really frustrating, but yeah, this is one that I'm definitely going to look to get complete. As I say, whether I buy a complete version or just get hold of the covers and the manual for this one. This disc only goes for £9. Then we get on to some of the ones that have sort of got cases. So the first one that we've got is Virtual Striker 2 version 2000.1. This is literally just the disc and the front cover. There's no back cover, no manual. It is just literally those two. So bare minimum I'm going to try and track down is the back cover for this. Looking it up online, disc only goes for £7. Then next up we have got Choo Choo Rocket. So yeah, once again this is another game that I had seen but never actually played, and yeah, it's a really bizarre game. You can definitely tell it's something that probably come out of Japan, and yeah, it was okay. With this one, it is missing. Has it got? Yeah, it is missing the front cover and the manual. So once again, with this one, I'm going to try and track down at least the front cover, because it does have the back cover, which is good. This one goes for disc only, goes for £4 on eBay. And then the last Dreamcast game we've got was Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future. So this is a sort of 3D version of Echo the Dolphin, and yeah, I'll be honest, I've never been a massive fan of the Echo series, even back on the Mega Drive. But I think with this one, yeah, so we've got the back cover, we've got the manual, so it is just the front cover that we need to get for this to be complete. So yeah, definitely going to try and track that one down. Looking it up online, in this condition, it'll go for about £15. So yeah, a nice pickup there. Alright, that's all of the Dreamcast bits, and now we're moving on to the Sega Saturn. And yes, right. So first off, we've got another cable, but this is a cable I've never actually seen in person before, and that is the Sega Saturn link cable. So if you look on the back of the Saturn, and I'll tell you what, I'll grab my one, because there is a port on the back of the Saturn. So just there, just next to the AV out, and then basically what this does is that plugs in. Maybe it doesn't. So what is that for then? Yeah, that's a different shape. I have no clue what that is for. Might be for the Dreamcast. It's got to be one of the disc-based systems, because it's nothing before that. Yeah, what I'll have to do, I will have a look after I finish the video. I'll pull my Dreamcast out and see if that plugs in there. It might be a Dreamcast link cable, but yeah, not too sure on that one. There's me hoping it was a Saturn one. So yeah, equally, whatever it was, I couldn't find any prices for it. And then, as well as I was going through, managed to come across a couple of Saturn discs as well. So these are only sort of disc onlys. So first one that we've got is Saturn Power number 2. So this is a demo disc, and it comes with Reloaded, Actual Soccer Club Edition, and Hardcore 4x4. So all of those, we've already got the complete games in the collection. And I will admit, probably one of the worst games I've played in a long time was Hardcore 4x4. Absolutely awful game. Right, so looking out, I did manage to find this online actually. So disc only goes for £15. Then we've got disc only of Worms, but that we can say we've got the complete version in the collection already. That one, I couldn't actually find a disc only price for that. There was no listings online for it. Then we've got FIFA 96, This one goes for £5. And then the last one that we've got is Actual Soccer Club Edition, and once again couldn't find a price for that one online. So moving on to the heavy hitters for the Saturn, and the first one that we've got is the official Sega Saturn light gun. So yeah, there was a couple of these in the bundle, and one of them I've already listed and sold. I think what did I sell it for? Yeah, £40 these sold for on eBay. Looking it up online, they go for £15 at CEX. So yeah, as I say, it was a nice one. I will admit we've already got one of these in the collection, so this one is probably also going to get sold as well. But bundled in with that as well was a copy of Virtual Cop 2. And what made this one even better was I finally managed to get hold of the cables. So as you'll see in the video now, you should also be seeing some gameplay footage as well. So yeah, I have now finally got the cables where I should be able to capture any footage from sort of light gun games going forward as well. So yeah, really chuffed with that, and definitely looking forward to getting some time in with some light gun games. This one, so so obviously this should come in a sort of big box with like the case, the gun, the game, the gun, and all of that. Obviously I have only got the game disc, but this is complete. It's got the manual inside, and that goes for about £15 on eBay. I couldn't find it listed at CEX, so yeah, really chuffed with that. Then next up we've got a couple of Xbox One controllers. So the first one that we've got might be in a, might look like it's in a white box, but it's actually the I think I've got the title here. No, I thought I had the particular title. So yeah, this has got the sort of green cover on it. It is missing the top of it, and looking it up, the R2 trigger is 40, so yeah, gonna have to do a bit of a repair on that, but we've got loads of spare parts for Xbox One controllers. So once that's fixed, they go for about, no, what am I doing? Reading the wrong one. Right, so this is a Velocity Green. I was actually reading the wrong one. So this one I haven't actually tested yet, just because of the condition of it. So yeah, but that once it's fixed, it'll go for about £48 at CEX, £32 on eBay. And then the one that I was actually reading to start with was a Xbox One. This is the Series 1 Elite controller. It's got most of the extra bits as well. I think it might be missing sort of one of the triggers on the sort of the back. But I have tested this, yeah, so one of the flippers, so one of these bits. I have tested it. This one does all work except for the R2 button. It's a bit, doesn't quite sort of press down all the way. So yeah, need to look into that one as to sort of what's going on with that. But yeah, hopefully I can get that all up and running. Looking it up online, it goes for £90 at CEX, £60 on eBay. Obviously that is once it's in working condition. Right, so next up we're going to jump into some of the Nintendo bits that we've got. And first off, there was a little Mario figure. So I'm actually going to put this over on the GameCube shelf next to the posable Luigi figure that we got. So with this one, all it does is just do the arms. I don't think, yeah, it's 2008. So even though it might look like it's from Mario Mover, it's not. Couldn't find it online at all. Not one of this sort of era. So yeah, not got a price for that one. Then we've also got a aftermarket N64 memory card. Once again, I don't think we've got any memory cards in the collection, so yeah, a nice little addition. Looking it up online, these go for about £10 on eBay. And then we also got a N64 expansion pack. So I've currently got one of these in the collection. It's currently sitting in my sort of workhorse N64 that I use when I'm capturing gameplay. So I'm going to keep hold of it because I can't remember if my Funtastic has got an expansion pack in it or not. If it hasn't, and it hasn't got the sticker over the pack that's already in there, then I'm going to fit this in. So yeah, I think originally this was actually in the Funtastic that we sold on. Obviously I took it out before selling it. These ones go for £40 on both CEX and eBay. And then diving into the other bits that we've got, so we've got a Competition Pro Super Nintendo gamepad. So this is, as you can see, very much shaped like the Sega Mega Drive pad. And yeah, it wasn't one that we had in the collection, so I decided to grab it. There were a couple more of these in there, but I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm either going to keep hold of them, bundle them with the Super Nintendos that we got in last week's video, or in the last Boot Fair video, sorry. And yeah, other than that, I'll probably just look to sell them on. I think they go these ones, where have I got it? £12 these go for. So yeah, as I say, I'm probably just going to bundle them in with some consoles. Then there was also a GameCube sort of controller extension cable. I think I've already got one of these in the collection, but yeah, you can never have enough of this sort of thing. These go for about £5 on eBay. And then getting into the big bits for the Nintendo pickups. First one that we've got is the Super Nintendo Game Genie. And yeah, it was after I was watching a video the other day. It was talking about the Game Genie and how it's I can't remember what the video was about, but it was basically about sort of like how it might have been about sort of how it bypasses sort of some of the sort of lockouts. And oh, excuse me. So yeah, and when I was looking at it, didn't actually realise how few of the Game Genies there actually were. So there was the NES, the SNES, the Game Boy, the Mega Drive, and the Game Gear. So I think out at the moment, the only ones that I'm missing for the collection are the NES and the Game Gear. So yeah, that is probably something I'm going to look to grab so that I can actually have a complete set of the Game Genies. As I say, this one, didn't realise it was in there until we were sorting through. It goes for about £25 on eBay. I will admit the Game Genies don't tend to sell for a lot of money, so yeah, fingers crossed I'll be able to get the other two for fairly cheap. And then the last Nintendo pickup that we got was actually something that I have been wanting for the collection for a while now, and it is an NES Advantage joystick. So yeah, anyone outside of gaming will probably recognise this from Ghostbusters 2. This is what they use to actually control the Statue of Liberty through New York. But for us gamers, yeah, we will very much recognise this in an instant. Really happy to have this. It's one of the joysticks that I've been wanting to add in, but just never seen it out and about. So yeah, there was actually two of them in there, and I've recently sold the other one as well. This one goes for £28 at CEX, £30 on eBay. Alright, so we've still got a fair amount to go through, but I'm trying to get through it as quickly as I can because I think my battery's going to be running out soon as well. So next up we've got an Amiga game, and that is Terminator 2, the arcade game. Now this is a, well, I remember it basically from like the Mega Drive and the arcade where it was a shooter. So I'm assuming that it is, but I don't remember there being a light gun with the Amiga. So you're obviously using a crosshair and a joystick. So yeah, as I say, it was just the fact of sort of seeing this before and not having it in the collection was why I grabbed it. This one goes for £25 on eBay. Right, so now we're going to dive into the sort of Mega Drive era bits and pieces. So first off, managed to actually get two AV cables for the Mega Drive 2. Always great to have these sort of cables. Definitely worthwhile having them in the collection. I haven't got a price for them, but moving on to something that we do have a price for, we've got the Mega Drive Mega Stick. So yeah, this is basically the smaller of the two arcade sticks that were released for the Mega Drive by Sega. And yeah, as I say, anything like this, I always like to grab them and add them into the collection. This one, couldn't find it listed at CEX, but goes for £25 on eBay. And then to go with that, we've then also got the official Sega Mega Stick as well. It's a bit dirty, I have got to give it a bit of a clean over. But what was really good, I think it was either the day that I picked this lot up or the week before, there was actually one of these at the Sunday Boot Fair. But a guy had it in a bundle. He wasn't willing to split the bundle up, and I think he wanted like £300 for this Mega Drive bundle. It's like the console, the arcade stick, and about 10 games. Well overpriced. I'm pretty sure he didn't sell it at all. But yeah, so I was gutted that I couldn't get it then, but really glad when I went through this box and actually found it in there. So looking it up online, £20 at CEX, £30 on eBay, which was really good. And then we'll move on to a couple of Mega CD bits. So first one that we've got is just case only, but this is a game that I'm desperate to pick up, and that is Prince of Persia. So I remember playing the original Prince of Persia on my dad's, I think it was a 386 laptop at the time, and this thing was huge. I'd probably say about, well, yeah, the whole screen size, so probably from there to at least up there in size. It was massive. It even had a handle and you carried it as a case. But yeah, so this is a game that I've got a real sort of love for. A lot of memories playing this growing up, so yeah, definitely want to get hold of this. As I say, this is just the case, so yeah, I'm going to try and track down either the disc only or just try and get the complete copy. Right, but then, so when I picked up these bits, the person that I bought them from, these were in with the Dreamcast games, and he literally said, yeah, you can have all the cases, they're all just empty cases, just have them. And yeah, as I was sort of going through them, I actually went through them sort of there and then, especially in the Mega CD bits. I found Lethal Enforcers 2, but when we actually opened it up, it's complete. So we've got the disc and the manual. The case does need replacing, as you can see, but with it being just a double CD case, that's a fairly easy fix. I will admit I haven't captured footage for this because I don't currently have a Mega Drive light gun game, or don't have a justifier, which is what you need to play this. But yeah, definitely one that I'm going to look to try and track down a justifier so that we can actually have a go on this. This one goes for £28 at CEX and £80 on eBay. Really? Is there that much difference between CEX and eBay? I'm going to double check. I'll put a little message down the bottom, but yeah. Or actually, no, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a couple of example listings up here. Example sold listings. Because yeah, I don't think that there could be that much variance between sort of CEX and eBay, but I might be wrong. And then the final bit that we've got for the Mega Drive is actually a new console. And this one is a bit different because, as well as having sort of everything rubbed off the front pretty much, it also does have a multi-region mod on it. So what I've done is I've fitted the multi-region mod and then cut out the cartridge slot so that it will fit Japanese, US and European cartridges. I will be honest, I have plugged this in and tested it and it doesn't power on, so I'm going to have to do I'll probably do a repair video sometime in the future with this, and we'll have a look. We'll get it opened up and have a look, see if we can get it up and running. So I haven't got any prices for this one. It's something that we'll look at in the future. Okay, so next up we've got a couple of PS1 bits, not too many. So first off, we've got the smart cartridge. So this is designed to go in the back of model versions 1 and 2 of the PS1, where you've got the expansion port, and this is basically used in place of a mod chip. So it will allow you to play copied games, region-free games, everything like that. So yeah, nice little addition. Not something I'm going to use because obviously my PS1, the sort of the mini console, does have a mod chip in it. So anytime I'm doing anything multi-region, I just use that. And then there was also a copy of Wing Commander 4. Unfortunately, it is missing one of the discs. I think it's missing disc. Yeah, it's missing disc 3 and it's missing the manual. So yeah, unfortunately, I'll probably be able to play half the game, but yeah, not fully play it. So yeah, I'll keep my eye out. As I say, if I can get hold of the third disc, then brilliant. Actually, I haven't gone through prices, so I didn't get a price for that just because it's not complete. But the smart cartridge normally goes for about £10 on eBay. Okay, so next up we've got a couple of I want to say promotional bits that were in here. So we've got the Far Cry Primal steelbook. Once again, yeah, it was in there, so I'll keep it. I'll probably put it on the shelf next to one of the Far Cry Primals. I need to find out what this is. It might be PlayStation, not too sure. This one, the steelbook, goes for £25 on eBay. So yeah, I've actually got a couple of them in there, so I'm going to be selling off the rest of them. And then in addition to that, there was also another Far Cry Primal item, and this is so a little saber-toothed tiger bobblehead. Once again, there was 2 of these in there, so I'm going to keep one for myself and then probably sell the other one on eBay, if I can get it back in the box, that is. There we go. So the bobblehead goes for about £25 on eBay as well. So yeah, nice little addition. As I say, not something that's immediately going to get put out because, say, we don't really have the room in here. So yeah, nice to keep that. Then moving on, we've got another system that I'm going to be keeping for the moment. I might not keep it sort of long term, but yeah, definitely going to keep it for the foreseeable future. And as you can see, it is all in its original polystyrene. It doesn't have the outer box, unfortunately, but this is an Acorn Electron. So this, it has been used. You can see there's marks on it. But this was basically developed by a guy who used to work for Sinclair. I think he was basically Clive Sinclair's sort of like second in command. And after a big falling out, they both went their separate ways. He then went on to found Acorn, and actually one of their biggest successes, especially in the UK, was actually the BBC Micro. So it was a computer that was designed in partnership with the BBC for a television series that they were producing on computers. Very sort of very 80s in its approach. But obviously the BBC Micro will be very familiar to a lot of well, how to put this diplomatically, a lot of British people of my generation, because the BBC Micros were one of the big computers that were used in primary schools at the time. So yeah, I grew up having access to a BBC Micro in the primary. Well, I think I had it in my first primary school. Then when we moved, I don't think I had it then. And then I'd seen a couple of others throughout the years as well. But yeah, as I say, when I saw this there, so the Electron was basically their final system that they released. They massively overproduced them, and in the end, they literally had warehouses full of them. that they couldn't get rid of. So this one is actually in really good condition. It's got everything in there. So as well as having the power cable, you've got the introductory cassette. Then you've got the guarantee, the user manual, and even start programming with the Electron. So yeah, some really interesting bits. So what I am, as I say, what I am going to do is I'm going to sort of keep hold of it for at least a little while, but eventually I might sell it. But in addition to the Electron as well, there was also 3 boxes of the software. So that might be the sort of software and games that were released for the Electron. But I haven't had a chance to go through any of them yet. But yeah, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep those with the Electron, and then when it comes, if I do ever come to sell it, I'll literally sell it as one big bundle. So the Electron on its own normally sells for about £115 online. With all the games, as I say, there's probably in excess of about 40 sort of game discs, basically software and games. They're all complete in box as well, all in the original boxes. So I reckon total value for the Electron setup is probably $350 probably, with all the software as well to go with it. So yeah, as I say, that's something that I'm going to keep hold of it for now, and then in the future, if I do decide to sell it, then I'll just sort of list it as one big bundle. Right, so next up we've got 2 sections to go basically. So next up we've got a couple of Spectrum bits. So diving into the games first. So we've got the original Ghostbusters game. Reason that I wanted to keep this, we've actually got Ghostbusters 2. So yeah, I wanted to keep this to go with that. Unfortunately, the Ghostbusters 2 that we've got is in the cardboard box, whereas this is in normal cassette case. This one goes for £15 on eBay. Then we've got Live Actions. This is an Ocean produced game, or compilation, as you can see. So we've got The Great Escape, Top Gun, Green Beret, Rambo, and Army movies. So yeah, basically sort of all of the sort of licensed games, or a good portion of licensed games that were released for the Spectrum. And yeah, nice little addition there. Obviously, once again, it is in the big box. Then we've got Gunship. Once again, I know nothing about this, never played it, but it just looks like your normal sort of helicopter flight sim, or your helicopter combat sim, should we say. That one, sorry, right, let me stop. I'm going through these a bit too quickly now. So Live Action 5-pack, that goes for £10 on eBay. Gunship goes for £16 on eBay. Then we've got Animals of Rome. So this looks like a sort of top-down sort of strategy game, looking at the back of it. Yeah, fully detailed maps, phased movements, legions. Tax rate is a feature of the game. So yeah, there's that one. That goes for £23 on eBay. So yeah, definitely a sought after one, that one. Then we've got Vulcan, the Tucson campaign, I think, is it? Yeah, so this basically just looks like a hidden movements on mountainous terrain, scrolling maps, scenarios, air attack phrases. So yeah, this basically looks like sort of an on foot sort of battle simulator. This one goes for £10 on eBay. And then the last game that we've got on the Spectrum is, I'll get it right way up, was it Ninja Remix? There you go. I'll read it off the screen because I couldn't quite read it on the box. So yeah, this is basically the small box that you used to get on the Spectrum. And yeah, this one goes for £12 on eBay. So yeah, some nice new additions for the Spectrum range. But yeah, nothing nothing massive, shall we say. But we have got some hardware bits to go through as well. So first off, I have got one of the official Spectrum Video joysticks. So these are the ones that are sort of designed to work with the Spectrum. Normally you do need a joystick adapter that basically fits in the expansion port at the back of the Spectrum, and then basically it will give you access to a 9-pin to plug in the joystick. So yeah, we didn't have one of these sort of joysticks in the collection, so that's why I've kept hold of one. That goes for about £15 on eBay, which was really good. Then next up we have got a Spectrum console, or Spectrum system, shall we say. It's not necessarily a console, and that is a ZX81. So this was basically the second Spectrum computer that they ever released. You got the ZX80, which was the white console with the sort of membrane keyboard. And yeah, when I saw there was actually a couple of these in there, but this one where it had the polystyrene, I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep that and try and track down the outer sleeve for it, or the outer box. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to get something like that and then actually have this in its box. And yeah, the main reason, I've never had a ZX81, so yeah, just happy to have one now. Looking it up online, it's not a massively expensive system. They go for about £40. So yeah, as I say, a nice new addition to the Spectrum range. But we have also got one more new addition to the Spectrum range, and this is actually going to be a replacement for one of the systems that we've already got. And that is a boxed version of the ZX Spectrum. So this is the system that's got the rubber keys. Once again, this was not one that I had. I had the Spectrum 48K when I was younger. That was one that my dad had. So yeah, the fact that to have this boxed was a big reason for picking it out. I am going to sell the one that I've got in the collection already. I am going to sell that one. And then yeah, we'll just have literally this one in the collection. So looking it up online, this one goes for about £120 on eBay. And then moving on to the last bit for today, and this was one of the bits that I was absolutely jumping for joy with when I saw it in the bundle, because I didn't actually see it when we were packing the car up. It's only once we got home that I actually found it. And that is a ColecoVision. So this was a system that I'd been wanting to add, but it was one of those ones I will add it when I get round to it. And the reason I wanted to add it was because we've actually got a ColecoVision game in the collection. We actually got Smurfs. I think it might have been earlier, beginning part of the year. We might have got it from the normal Sunday boot fair. So yeah, wanted to get hold of the system so I can have a go. Unfortunately, so we do have the power supply, but we've only got one of the controllers, so I'm going to have to try and track down another controller for it. But we can still use it with the one controller, which is good. So yeah, really happy to have that one now. And I think that's pretty much it for the sort of vintage consoles that I want for the collection. There's some obscure ones, like I'd love a Pico, not a Pico, Pippin, sorry, is what I'm thinking of. I'd love an Apple Pippin, but yeah, that is sort of the stuff of dreams, shall we say. So looking the ColecoVision up online, they go for about £150 on eBay. So yeah, really chuffed to have this one in the collection now. And then in with all of the cables, there was another game as well, and that is Donkey Kong. So this is the original Nintendo version, back in the days when Nintendo would publish their games on other systems. So yeah, we've now got the ColecoVision version of Donkey Kong, as well as the 2600 version, and then we've also got the Super Mario Brothers version on the 2600 as well. So I mean, after this sort of era is when Nintendo put a stop to it, and obviously that's when they brought the NES out. So looking up Donkey Kong online, that goes for about £8 on eBay. And then that is it. So before we wrap up, let's quickly run through the totals of what I actually spent on everything. So as you saw in the original video, it was actually split into two different pickups. So the first pickup, which I've labelled as the Sega pickup, because it was mostly Sega bits, Sega consoles that were in there. I paid £595 for that. I'll be honest, I haven't actually put a total together of what I've already sold, but it's definitely, I want to say it's definitely more than about £350, £400. So we're pretty much there for sort of paying off that bundle. And then for the retro computers, we paid £440. So yeah, an absolute plethora of stuff there for just £440. As I say, I have not had a chance to go through and test any of those systems yet, so hopefully over the next couple of weeks I'll be able to get them tested, get them listed, and they'll sort of ship out the door quite quickly. But in total, we spent £1,035 on everything that we picked up. That's for the stuff that I'm keeping and the stuff that I'm selling. And then, yeah, for a CEX value of everything that we're keeping is £296. To be honest, a lot of it was sort of retro, that was out of CEX sort of scope. But the eBay price of everything that we picked up was £1,732.50. So yeah, really chuffed with that. Some really nice additions to the collection, and ones that I'm definitely looking forward to working them in somehow. But with that said, I am going to wrap the video up there because I'm just looking at the time and we're well over the hour mark now. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, bye.